Hello, my name is Winslaya, and welcome to my Age of Wonders 4 video talking about how these new Giant King rulers can be turned into auto combat clearing machines that can just clear gold wonders all by themselves with the right build once they get to level 12, which I was able to start doing on the 29th strategic turn with this ruler on this map. In this video, we are going to first watch this build in this auto combat. Then we will talk in detail about the build I used to pull this off. And then after that, we will go over what I focused on in the first 20 turns of the game. And after that, we will watch two other auto combats that are clearing ancient wonders using only this ruler. Then we will take a brief look at two other giant builds in auto combats to showcase essentially why you want to use a defender class Giant King to consistently get as good of results as I did in this combat. Alright, now that we're done with the overview, we can actually talk about this combat. And I gotta start off by saying this is such a beautiful map. Look at that giant skeleton on the throne in the background with all this gold pouring down towards the entrance. It's pretty great. So as you can see, my ruler is not taking much damage on this first turn. He has the ability to get grace every time he enters defense mode, and he ends his turn in defense mode. That's just part of the defender class. And one of the things that defenders typically struggle with that Giant Kings do really well is damage. They can actually deal a lot of damage with their primary attack and their secondary attack. I believe we just used Ice Shackles there, and I was just showing off these are the spells that I have quickly in the auto combat. I have a healing one, I have a thing that can slow down the enemy, which makes it harder for them to come to me. And then you just saw me use the Hurl Boulder ability on an enemy, which is a lot of damage. I believe the defender class starts with that. And yeah, that's my thing of grace gone right there. He attacked into me, and then I healed up. It looks like 35 points of HP because of my signature skill. I believe that was the safeguarding rune or something like that. But yeah, as you can see from my damage output, I can do a lot of damage because I have a tier 4 weapon that's dealing more than 30 repeating damage in a cone in front of me, which is, as you can see here, a lot of damage. Like in theory, it's like 30 damage on one hex times 3 for one attack. So that's 90 damage times 3 for 3 attacks is what, 270 damage before the damage gets reduced by their resistances and armor. So as you can see, those were some higher tier units that I attacked into. They're going to take a few turns to get through, but not too many. This ability, this weapon has the ability to soulbound enemies, which can turn them into zombies, and that's quite good. I also think I believe I was looking for the Cult of the Week when I was recording this earlier. This allows me to heal temporary hit points every time I attack the enemy, which I'm about to do here. You can see it. I'm going to get some I believe some life steal here somewhere, right? Are those targets not weakened? I believe they have to be weakened for the life steal to trigger, so that might have been what we were seeing right there. But generally speaking, I think this combination deals a lot of damage and is just kind of unkillable, so it performs quite well in the auto combats. There's the grace triggering again, quite good. And then it removed Frozen using the Dispelling rune. So even though they were able to trigger Frozen on my ruler, he's not actually frozen here. And I gave him pretty good status resistance. So generally speaking, he's fairly hard to deal with. And then yeah, this Hurl Boulder ability is very nice because he can just walk away from a target and deal like 62 damage to those lower tier units. It can afflict slow, which will make it harder for them to walk towards you, and so that they may lose a turn of damage when you're able to attack them. And yeah, I think you can see how this combat's going at this point. We're winning. This tier 4 is about to, I think, not survive this turn. There we go. We got weakened, and I believe there may have been some healing at one point in there. Yeah, that's the grace healing me there. It's definitely popping up every time they attack me. I can see that healing. Very good. Okay, now they're running. We could probably wrap up this combat, but it's, yeah, it's not going to take too long for the giant to wrap it up anyways. Very good, giant. Very, very good. All right, now let's take a closer look at the build itself. The build I used for this Frost Giant King with the Defender class focused on a lot of the defensive tools that you can get in the Defender skill tree, as well as a lot of the defensive tools in the signature skill tree that we have over here on the right. Two things that I got on the signature skill tree that allow you to do something other than just keep your unit alive is this one. The soul draining strikes allows you to soulbound enemies, creating decaying zombies that can take actions off of your giant, or it can make it so that the enemies will hurt your giant less because they're focusing their actions on these zombies that just spawn in. And then there is this Awaken Earth ability, which we actually didn't get to see in that last combat. The giant decided that it would get more value if it just attacked targets, and generally it was getting a lot of value out of that. But I have to imagine having a stone spirit that can phase forward and immobilize enemies, keeping them from being able to engage with your army or your giant for a turn or two could be quite valuable. Now we also have this hurl ice boulder ability that I believe we start with as a giant king that I decided to not reset out of. I think it's very nice to have the ability to throw at range 6 a ability that will slow the enemy, making it harder for them to approach you. There's a relatively low cooldown on this if you don't upgrade it, so I actually really like the level 1 version on this build. We also have the Rune of Power over here on the left. I'm not a giant fan of the Disenchanter, but it is something that you need to pick in order to get access to some of these other very nice runes. And I found that I was getting a lot of value out of the extra damage that you get from this ability, and the chance to freeze the enemy is quite powerful. But there's also the fact that you're getting 10% extra damage here on attacks. You can also get plus 20% damage over here on your melee attacks, and then if the enemies get soulbound, then I believe you don't do extra damage because of soulbound, do you? That's something else I'm thinking of. You could take frost strikes to get extra damage against things that are either slowed or frozen, and that would be generally quite valuable, but you only have so many points to play around with, and I decided to try this one out. I found that I liked it quite a bit. We also have Defensive Masters, which is worth covering quickly. This will make it so that you end your turn in defensive mode and make it so you can't get flanked easily. If somebody can knock you out of defensive mode, then your unit's in a little bit of danger. They might get flanked, but generally speaking, that's not super common, and you should be able to, get a lot of value out of this interaction if you also take the graceful defense. As you saw, he's getting a lot of grace on my hero, allowing them to basically stay in the fight a lot longer than they would have otherwise. And then there are these other things in here that let you take advantage of that defense mode. Pure defense will remove some status effects on you, just like the dispelling rune. So generally speaking, you shouldn't have too many status effects on you. And then there is also this status protection that can stack up every time you take non-physical damage on your giant. And yeah, I think that's the main parts inside of the skill tree here that we have to talk about. I did mention briefly in the combat that we have, where'd it go? Coal of the Weak, which allows us to heal a little bit against units that are weakened when we use melee attacks against them. And we have the ability to apply weakened on our physical, ranged, and magic attacks. So basically the hurl boulder gets that weakening tag, and then we can take advantage of that pretty easily. We also have Hideous Stench isn't terrible. I don't have a lot of magic damage, and I think if I had different magic materials, I could have made it so this deals more magic damage, and I might have gotten a little bit more value out of it, but you don't need it. You can actually get a tier 4 weapon without any magic materials that is quite valuable, and I would recommend you do that if you're not able to get good magic materials. We have Corpse Eating. That's generally quite good for auto combats. That comes from our society traits, and then we also have the extra damage from the damage rune, the other stuff I believe we've talked about. So from here, I think we can move on to the next thing. Oh, I could also mention that we took the privateering to help us get to renown level 3 a little bit quicker, which allows us to get the things we need to craft the higher tier weapons. And generally speaking, I found getting in the water quite quick in the game to be very helpful here. I did want to briefly mention that the reason we have the bulwark tag on this leader is because that is a tag from the form traits that can carry over to the giant rulers. Just like Hideous Stench, that's something that can be applied to them, and they generally get a lot of good value out of. I would say you get the most value out of bulwark on a defender class because of this defensive master's ability, and while we don't have that unlocked here, we're pretty close to getting to that interaction because of all of the nodes we got to farm and all of the experience we got to put on this ruler as early as we did. We actually have just unlocked Renown level 4 on turn 9, which is relatively early in the game. Most ambitions won't allow you to get to that high of renown as quickly as we did here, but I got pretty lucky with the map generation. I got a lot of nodes in the water near my capital, and one of the first things I did is I just went in this direction, started clearing, started getting the experience on my guys, and I saw that Forsaken Cove and decided I would rather start clearing in this general direction, like so. And one thing that I was noting as I was playing through this is you generally want to only have 6 units in your stacks that you're engaging with, but having guys nearby to replace the guys that get beat up is generally pretty helpful. With the changes to experience, you only want 6 units from your side going into fights like this that have 6 or less units, I think is generally how the rounding works at this point in time. But as you can see here, not a lot of damage. We can use that to just engage on this stack over here. If we take maybe this unit over here, hopefully we get good results. And yeah, that's basically what I try to focus on in the first 20 or so turns of the game. I want to try and get experience on my ruler so that they can have good signature skills and good abilities for going into those wonders. And I also want to make sure that I can start equipping good gear to him so that we can do more damage in general. Okay, we are now ready to observe another manual combat. This one will be against the Guardian Tree on turn 34. Not much has changed. I just basically spent the last 5 turns moving from the other Ancient Wonder over here to showcase that you basically can get the same result I got on that last Ancient Wonder on other Ancient Wonders. Right here, we're seeing that this one's stronger, but that's okay. We actually end up taking less damage here. It's a better result. Let's watch the replay to see how we are able to get these results. All right, so what do we have up here? Whenever an attacker starts in the floral, they gain fortune, strengthen, and regeneration. Wait, that's me. No, them? Maybe not. The defending horn gods leech power from the surrounding nature each turn. They consume things and they heal the horn god and give them strengthened. Okay. That's fine with me. Do we do the damage that we need to get through this quickly? They are weak to quite a few things, but I don't think I have the damage channel that I need to hurt them. What's he going to start with? He's going to taunt. Taunt, apply soulbound. Lovely. I'll take it. He's weakening that horn god. No, not the horn god. They're weakening this guy in the back, which is a real unit. And they're just going to spend some time healing. That's good. You stay there. I think we can manage this. Oh yeah, that guy's not in a good position. He's a goner. I think he just kills this, right? That's so much passive healing, he doesn't care. I think he just did get a little bit of healing from the lifesteal there. Very nice. Alright, we have an idea of what they're going to be doing here. Let's speed it up a little bit. Yeah, I don't think Cycle End is going to have a very high chance of working when I have this much health, because this looks at how much health I've lost. Oh, there you go. You almost get him right there. Oh, you do. You get the spell. All right, nice. Good work. All right. They're just healing up their friends and barely dealing any damage. It's good that we're resisting all these poisons. Wonder what the chances of applying poison actually are here. Oh, he's frozen. Yeah, the more I am looking at this, the more I'm thinking, am I actually getting as much value out of Soulbound as I thought I was? Or would it be better to actually do more damage to things that are frozen or slowed? Because when I fail to freeze, they're slowed. That's pretty good. There, we did get a zombie though. That's something. Did you just kill my zombie? That's very rude. Yeah, taunt him. That's good. That didn't create any zombies there? Too bad. Alright, he does 7 damage. I heal 10. That's fine. And now you just boulder from here, don't you? Give yourself a little safe distance. I like that. I think that came from the... They didn't used to think this way, but they changed the logic on skirmishers and things that can run away and deal damage. That was, I think, valuable. We got more value out of moving and doing a ranged attack than, say, moving forward and doing a melee attack like this. Alright, I think we can see how I'm winning this. They haven't done any damage. Get him. I'm gonna turn it up. Because he's just, yeah, every other turn doing the hurl boulder and then doing some melee attacks when they get a chance. Yep, taunted that guy. That's fine. You got this. Go get him. Make him sad. Yeah, I have to say, I think this weapon with that enchantment is super strong. You also have good retaliation damage, which is why I don't think they end up ever standing next to me. When they do attack me, I retaliate for a lot. Once this guy is dead, that guy won't take that long to get rid of. Yeah, are they frozen now? No. Almost. Come on, come here. You know you want to run. Ah, there, he's standing here. We got him. Yeah. Huzzah. See, it's a good build. It's really, really good. I love this build. I'm going to have to use it in some multiplayers. The next auto combat we're going to watch is the one here for the Temple of the Tome. And one interesting thing I noticed when I was trying out this strategy is that while you can get away with clearing some Silver Wonders with heroes that are lower level than what we have here, generally speaking, a lot of the Silver Wonders are actually fairly similar to the Gold Wonders in terms of their army strength and their general difficulty. So you do want to be around level 12 in order to get results like what we're going to see here. And now let's go in and actually watch how we get these results. I believe I was able to clear some Bronze Wonders and a few Silver Wonders around level 8 or 10, but it really depends on your build a lot and the general damage affinities they can deal and what you can deal to them, because for example, if I'm able to attack this Balor with frost damage, he's going to die a lot quicker. Alright, starts off something, an attack. It looks like a throw boulder on this guy, probably. Have I been berserked? Oh no, he made me berserk. Good thing I can't attack anyone but the enemy. Yeah, that's a lot of damage though. This is more than that last Gold Wonder we just looked at with all the plants. That makes sense. These guys are mostly designed to deal damage as unit types, whereas the plants are more support healing focused. But I was better at the support healing than they were. I'm sorry, what? That was a lot. That was a lot. Good giant. Electrified got him. Why are they all wet? Has that got to do with this? All units are... Oh, okay, cool. I don't think that actually makes things too much easier for us here. It does make it a little bit easier because if they have the wet tag, they have frost resistance weakness, or they're weak to frost damage. Well, I hope that doesn't make it so some people don't feel like I would have won these combats otherwise. Because I mean, look at those numbers. Look at those numbers. I think we would have won anyways. Let's just say a Balor will be summoned on the defender side in 8 turns, so we have to take them out quickly. Oh look, a zombie. Good, focus your actions on him. Come closer. Come closer. I'm gonna get a nice AoE attack here, aren't I? Or not even necessary. Zombie, get him. Lovely, whoa. Oh, wow. 100 damage right there. Pretty good. I did try to make some builds that were focused more on dealing damage with a Spellblade and one that would just continuously heal with Ritualist, but I was finding that they actually didn't have as good of results as what we're seeing here, and we can watch them to see if maybe they would be able to get better results, and they just kind of made weird decisions in the auto combat because I haven't actually watched them yet. I wanted to make sure that my reaction is live. I think that makes it more interesting. Wow, we're all the way back up to full health here, Balor. I don't think this is going to end well for you. Come here. I'm gonna throw a boulder into your back. Wow. Yeah, this target's definitely going down quicker because of the frost weakness, and we're gonna take him out right before the Balor summons in another guy. I mean, if they only do 12 damage, that's fine actually. And yeah, looks like we're about to win this one, aren't we? Or not? Wait, why'd you do it that way? You had this. Are we gonna have to fight another Balor now? No, okay, there we go. We got him. Right in time. Right in time. Good, good. The next auto combat that we're going to look at is for this one Whispering Graze, which is just a silver wonder, and it's reasonably not too strong. We can see here that it's only about 1,000 strength, and we're using this ruler, a Spellblade, at level 12. They have a fairly similar build to what I was using for my defender. We went for Dispelling Rune, Safeguarding Rune, and Brawn, but there's some slight variations in here, like we went for the lightning damage evocation on the left side of the Spellblade. We took some stuff on the right side here, and we got the ability to summon in units. I figured having other units would be really good for clearing, but this build wasn't working fairly well in even the silver wonders that we see here. As you can see, we only took out a single unit. So let's actually watch the replay and we can kind of break down why this build isn't working as well as the defender a little bit more. There are a lot of effects in this combat, but I did test this on a few others and he was losing against those silver wonders as well. So I have to imagine this one isn't nearly as good as a defender with a lot of damage. I did give him a tier 4 weapon. It's a nice tier 4 charge weapon. or tier 3 rather. It's a not quite on the same level as the tier 4 that we made earlier, but it does spirit damage and it's still reasonably strong. But I don't think that would make up the damage necessary to take out the remaining units that are here. We have the ability to turn things insane. That could be a problem if we had allies to attack, but if we don't, then that's fine. When a sarcophagus is destroyed, it creates a skeleton polearms. All right, yeah, this is a pretty challenging combat in general, isn't it? Well, I still think my defender wouldn't take in nearly as much damage with all the defensive stats that they can get from things like Bulwark. The shield here does seem like it's doing decent work, pulling actions, but not enough it looks like. Yeah, you can kill a unit there. Good job, you killed one unit. Now you get flanked to death, right? Yeah. Whoops. Ah, right, we have the Keeper's Mark, because I was hoping that it would just, yeah, remove its past fight, allow it to attack, which seemed like, in theory, it'd be very good, but it wasn't enough for this fight. The last auto combat we're going to observe is this Forbidden Shrine with a level 12 Ritualist ruler. And if we take a little look at what I put on this Ritualist ruler, you will see that I went for the summoning ability for the Giant Kings. I went down the Swift Wild Growth path for the Ritualist stuff, and I decided that summoning in more units would probably be good on a unit that heals other units. So we took the Awaken Earth thing again. We basically took the same signature skills that I have been taking on all my Giant Kings, because I feel like this should allow them to do fairly good in combats all by themselves. Now, another thing that's worth mentioning before we get into combat is I did not upgrade the obelisk. If you want to, you can upgrade this obelisk so that it does a tiny little bit more damage in the AoE. And while that sounds okay to me, I have to imagine that that's not going to be as good as dealing 270 damage as we mentioned earlier with the defender's weapon. They can just deal a lot more damage in general. And even with 5 points of infusions, this thing's only dealing like 32 in an area of effect versus the, I think, 24 that we have right here at the baseline for the tier 1 weapon, basically. So yeah, let's go into the combat and see how he handles this. Yep, we took out a single unit. Good. Yeah, this is the one that spawns in Baylor's, so I think we're going to see that this gets out of control pretty quickly. Not even sure if he'll survive for that long. We'll see, right? Just spawning in there, guys, getting their wild growth going. That one wasn't necessary yet. That one's just going to disappear in 3 turns, but maybe it will draw some actions for a little bit. Oh, and you destroy your wild growth. Good. Lovely. And now this guy's very far forward. And did you attack yet? No, he kind of seems just passed the turn instead of attacking for one reason or another. Interesting choice. I don't think this summon's lasting very long. And then he brings in a summon back there. Yeah, there may be a build for Ritualist that works really well in clearing auto combat, but I just trust the defender. I think that it's like turn off your brain, just trust it, and it works great most of the time. Still, it's going to take them a bit of time to chew through this Ritualist if they have the Swift Wild Growth thing. The Conjure Wild Growth Swift is very, very nice because it just lets you apply a lot of regeneration. I think that 35-point heal, the safeguard thing, should only trigger once per combat, but I don't think I've seen it say that. Doesn't seem to indicate that if you look at the breakdown right here. It just says when this unit goes below 60% of its maximum health, it gets this effect. That was something that I wanted to see more with this Ritualist. I wanted to see if he could regenerate over 60%, because 60% of 100 is 60, so we need another 30 on top of that. If you can get up to like 100 HP, I think you might be able to trigger that effect again. And again, it's not constantly applying regeneration like I thought it would. Yeah, I have a feeling this build is a lot better if you can manually control and just say, we're applying regen every turn. Like, every turn except for when we're summoning in with our full action. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I had for you in this video. If you enjoyed it, if you'd like to see other content covering Age of Wonders 4, I have made a lot of other videos covering these more advanced concepts, like how to clear Ancient Wonders efficiently. I did one for Dragon Lords a little while back, and I've talked about like the experience formula in detail. But yeah, I'll see you around. Have a good day.